It's the Bermuda Triangle of receivers, guys. We've got 3 receivers, all of them elite, all of them potentially could get traded. I'm going to share with you guys the latest rumors on them, who I think has a better chance of getting traded out of these 3 receivers. So let's get into it. Number 1, it's going to be DK Metcalf. And we've got a report saying the Jets were willing to offer the number 10th overall pick in the draft straight up for DK Metcalf, and the Seahawks shut it down. Now, personally, if I was the Seahawks GM and they offered me the 10th pick, I'd be like, all right, let's talk. Like, that is a good pick. And you have to understand, you know, the whole contract situation with DK Metcalf. You're Seattle. You still don't have a quarterback. You're kind of in a mini rebuild. If I was Seattle, based on Tyler Lockett's age, based on DK Metcalf's contract situation, I would fully commit to maybe a 1-year teardown, trade DK Metcalf. And, you know, if the Jets are coming at you starting off the negotiation by already offering the 10th overall pick, obviously you can say, yeah, give me the 10th overall pick, give me 2 or 3 second-round picks as well. We know the Packers got the 22nd overall pick and the 50th overall pick for Davante Adams. If the Jets open dialogue already offering you the 10th overall pick for a guy you're going to have to allocate a large amount of your salary cap to before you even have a quarterback because you traded away Russell Wilson, it would intrigue me, and I would tell the Jets, listen, yeah, I'm interested. I'll take the 10th overall pick. I'm going to need more, but I'm interested. I'm surprised Seattle shut that down, and they really want to re-sign DK Metcalf. You can kind of understand it. It's just an organizational philosophy. They don't want to tear down. I preach to a 1-year tear down and then rebuild, but it seems like they want to keep Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. The problem, the part where I struggle is, what's the answer at quarterback? Is it Baker Mayfield? Is that good enough? What do you do next year when you win 5 or 6 games? You don't get a top 2 or 3 pick, so you can't pick Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. That is why I would, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, if you can get DK Metcalf for the number 10 overall pick, a second-round pick, and a second-round pick next year. Remember, DK Metcalf's a great player, but he is due a massive amount of money, a massive contract extension, similarly to Davante Adams, where he's going to want 25, maybe 27 million per year. It's going to be a massive cap hit. That's going to be a lot of money you're going to be allocating to a receiver position when you still don't even have your franchise quarterback. And then how does Tyler Lockett and his age fit into this window? Wouldn't you be better off just trading Tyler Lockett, who I believe is already 29 right now? By the time you're contending again, by the time you get your next franchise quarterback, probably in a year or 2, Lockett is very likely his prime years are going to be behind him. You could get probably a second rounder for Tyler Lockett right now, an early second rounder, maybe even a late first rounder. I don't know the exact market value of Tyler Lockett, but it seems like the Seahawks really want to re-sign DK Metcalf, at least according to these reports. Again, if they get a better offer, we'll have to see. And how about the Jets being really aggressive? This tells me that the Jets are really going to give Zachary Wilson a chance. They're really going to give Zach Wilson a chance because they could have traded for Tyreek Hill if he would have picked them. He didn't pick them, he picked Miami. They're trying to offer the 10th overall pick for DK Metcalf. They're saying, listen up, we have Corey Davis, we have Elijah Moore, but we want to make it so if Zach Wilson is a bust, it's just because he's a bust. It's not because we didn't surround him with anything like they could, people were arguing with Sam Darnold. It was a terrible situation. So it's good to see the Jets trying to improve, and that's a very fair offer, the number 10 overall pick, to kick off negotiations and offer that. Now, if they were just saying the 10th overall pick or nothing, I would not just take the 10th overall pick. I need at least 1 second rounder, maybe 2 second rounders, but that is a good offer for a guy that's due a lot of money. DK Metcalf. Also, you have the situation with DK Metcalf and the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs, both of whom have 2 late first-round picks, both of whom need a wide receiver desperately to pair with their superstar veteran quarterback. Very interesting there. Could one of those 2 teams, could the Packers say, we'll give you number 22 and number 28 for DK Metcalf straight up? Would that get it done? That could be a draft night trade. That's very interesting to think about. Next, we have oh my goodness. We've just got a report that Dwayne Haskins has died. Steelers QB Dwayne Haskins died Saturday morning after getting hit by a car in South Florida. According to Adam Schefter. Wow. Dwayne, I'm an Ohio State fan. Wow. That is, we'll have to talk about that. Ooh, that's very surprising. Wow. Rest in peace to him. Next, we've got Stephon. Wow. Hold on, guys. I just saw an update. I literally saw it. It pulled down on my screen. I saw it and I read it and I was like it sent a shockwave through me. But that is a report, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of coverage on that. Wow. The next receiver I wanted to talk about, Stephon Diggs, agreed to a contract extension with the Buffalo. This was not one of the receivers that could get traded, but I just wanted to make note of it. Stephon Diggs signs a 4-year, $104 million extension. That's right around... What is that? Around $26 million per year. I think that's exactly what it is. That's not surprising. He's a top 5, top 7 receiver in the NFL. He's getting around $25-26 million per year. Similar to Davante Adams. Similar to DeAndre Hopkins. Another receiver that could get traded, Brandon Cooks. Now, this one is a little surprising. Brandon Cooks signs a 2-year extension with the Houston Texans through 2024. I'm not understanding it. I really am not, and it's sad to see teams. Now, originally I thought this was just to make him more appealing in a trade, but there are reports that make it seem like the Texans want to keep Brandon Cooks for whatever reason. I don't know. You're going through a rebuild right now. There's probably no legit quarterbacks you're going to want to take in this draft, so it's going to be a multi-year rebuild. By the time you get your young quarterback, Brandon Cooks is going to be too old. He's going to be at the end of his contract anyways. It's a 2-year extension. My thought process behind this, if I was Houston, I guess you could say maybe Houston was offering Brandon Cooks in trades and they were only getting like 3rd round picks offers back. You're not going to trade Brandon Cooks for a 3rd round pick. If they weren't getting very good offers, then you go ahead and you say, you know what, we'll just extend him. But this is just a situation where I am all for tearing down teams, and with Brandon Cooks, it's just, by the time you're good, by the time you get a young quarterback, he's going to be too old. Very similar situation to Tyler Lockett. The only other thing I could think of is Houston offered him in trades, and they were only getting like a 3rd or 4th round, pick back for him, and they're like, it's not worth it, let's just extend him. And I mean, Davis Mills is not a viable option. Davis Mills is not a future starting quarterback in the NFL. I think they're using Davis Mills to tank, which is smart, but it's like people are like, ooh, Davis Mills. Guys, Davis Mills is not going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And then the third receiver that could get traded, we had DK Metcalf, who I think very likely could get traded, guys. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I know the Seahawks are talking about extending him, but when you look at their window, it doesn't make sense unless you have an option at the quarterback position. Baker Mayfield to Seattle does make sense, but I could very easily see on draft night DK Metcalf getting traded to either Kansas City, the New York Jets, or the Green Bay Packers in a blockbuster. Brandon Cooks, I still could see getting traded as well, but that contract extension was a little puzzling. Maybe it makes him more tradable because he's got more years left on his contract, although that was just a 2-year extension. And then the third guy, it's going to be A.J. Brown. And the thing with A.J., also I want to talk about Deebo Samuel. There's actually 4 because Deebo Samuel, although I think Deebo Samuel is 1,000% re-signing with San Francisco. The situation on A.J. Brown, Mike Vrabel denied that there was a chance A.J. Brown could be traded. So, A.J. Brown is another one of those receivers. I believe the same draft class as DK Metcalf. He is due a massive contract. The problem is the Tennessee Titans have a terrible cap situation. The salary cap hit that Ryan Tannehill is taking up, he has one of the worst contracts in the NFL, maybe behind only Matt Ryan. It's around $40 million of a cap hit, I believe. So if you are Tennessee and you're saying, listen, we can get a first rounder back for A.J. Brown. We can get a first and a second rounder when we've got this horrible cap situation. We're already paying Tannehill so much. If we allocate $25 million per year to A.J. Brown, that's going to cripple our cap. You could look at a situation where you might be intrigued in trading A.J. Brown for a first and second round pick, similar deal to what the Packers did for Davante Adams. This has to do 100% with team philosophy. Is it worth giving a receiver $25 million per year? Is it worth allocating that much of your cap space to a receiver? And the other factor is you have a horrible contract with Ryan Tannehill, who I still think has 2 years left on that contract at around a $40 million cap hit per year. And how do you be contenders if you're allocating $40 million to Ryan Tannehill and $25 million to A.J. Brown when you could trade A.J. Brown, get a first and a second round pick back for him, get younger, get cheaper, get more controllable players? That is interesting. I think A.J. Brown is a unique player. Probably would lean towards only maybe a 40% chance he gets traded. And then just the quick situation on Deebo Samuel that I wanted to talk about that I'm going to pull up right now. You can see the latest update. He's removed all mentions of the 49ers team from his Instagram profile. This happens with guys who want new contracts. I think Deebo Samuel is so important to what the 49ers do on offense, whether he's receiving, whether he's running. Just such a crazy, unique dual threat. This is a guy you lock up no matter what. And I think the 49ers know that. Nick Bosa is also due a big contract, but they do have the benefit. If they go ahead and roll with Trey Lance, he's under a rookie deal, so you're not allocating a lot of money towards your starting quarterback if they do roll with Trey Lance next year. So Deebo Samuel, he removes all mentions of the 49ers from his social media profiles as a tactic. He's pissed. That's him saying, I want a new contract, and I think he gets a new contract. I think the 49ers know they need him. It's a little bit different from an A.J. Brown situation where maybe you could trade A.J. Brown for a first and second round pick. It's not like A.J. Brown is getting 10 carries a game. You know, Deebo is so dynamic. He does so much for that offense. It also makes the contract negotiations pretty unique because it's like, what do you give a guy like A.J. Brown per year? How many millions do you give him? How many millions do you commit to him? Because he's not just an elite receiver, he's also an elite running back. Very interesting, and that might be kind of the holdup. It's like Deebo Samuel might want to be the highest paid receiver because his camp and his agent could be arguing, listen, you've got a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, you've got a guy like Devontae Adams. They're just receivers. This guy's also a rusher. So that's a very unique contract situation, but I think the 49ers realize this is a guy we have to keep. It also would be interesting, what would Deebo Samuel be worth? Well, what's his trade value? His trade value has to be absurdly high right now, but if I'm the 49ers, I'm thinking to myself, this is a guy, as long as it's not an absurdly high contract, like if it's a Stephon Diggs type contract, I'm sure the 49ers would love to do that. But I think Deebo wants a little bit more than that, and he's removing the 49ers from a social media page to show that he wants to get this contract done before the season. He wants that financial security, and we'll see if it gets done. I think it does get done, guys. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.